I'm Chris Hardy. I'm a researcher at the UCL Queen Square Institute of Neurology Dementia Research Centre. I've been here for about 10 years now. I'm really excited to be funded now by the Alzheimer Society and to be the second recipient of the Alzheimer Society Carol Jennings Fellowship. My research focuses on the relationship between hearing impairment and dementia and explores whether or not we can use tests of what I call brain hearing to detect dementias like Alzheimer's disease at early stages. Hearing impairment is really important when we think about dementia. There is lots of good quality evidence now to suggest that hearing impairment and dementia are linked. The centre idea behind my fellowship is that actually if we can use tests specifically of brain hearing, we might be able to expose problems associated with dementias like Alzheimer's disease at very early stages.
Okay, Lisa, so on this task, you're going to hear two pairs of sounds. One sound from each pair is going to be played to your right ear, and the other sound is going to be played at exactly the same time to your left ear. And that's
most people think, we hear with our ears, which of course we do, but we also hear with our brains. And actually, there's lots of reasons to be quite excited about brain hearing in the context of dementia. When we are in a busy auditory environment, when we're in a pub or a restaurant, there's lots of other people talking, it's incredibly challenging, computationally demanding for the brain to be passing out, to be focusing in on a single person talking. And that's this type of thing I refer to as brain hearing. Now, what we know is that the different brain areas that are involved in brain hearing are actually the same brain areas that are affected early in the course of dementias like Alzheimer's disease. And I'm happy to say that in my pilot work, the work that led up to this application, I've been able to demonstrate that, sure enough, some brain hearing tasks can differentiate between Alzheimer's disease and people without dementia with outstanding accuracy, actually even outperforming standard memory tests and other cognitive screening tools that are used as standard in memory clinics. In phase 1 of the research, I'll be working with a data set that has been collected over the last 20 years or so at my centre. It's incredibly valuable, this data. This includes people who've come into the research centre, have had a test of their ear hearing and their brain hearing, and who've made the incredibly generous decision to donate their brains to research after death. In phase 2, I'll be designing a new suite of brain hearing tasks and using these prospectively in groups of people with Alzheimer's disease and a rarer language-led form of dementia known as the primary progressive aphasias. One of the things I'm really excited to try to develop is non-verbal hearing tasks. So the advantage of this is that they can be used across different languages and across cultures, which is a limitation of some of the standard measurements of memory tests and cognitive screening tasks that are currently available. In phase 3, I'll be using the best performing brain hearing tasks from phase 2 in a group of people with a very rare type of Alzheimer's disease known as familial Alzheimer's disease or genetic Alzheimer's disease. Carol Jennings herself actually had this type of Alzheimer's disease, this genetic form. And the amazing thing about this group of absolutely intrepid volunteers is that they know that they carry the faulty gene, they know they're going to develop Alzheimer's disease at roughly the same age as their parent. That gives us an amazing opportunity to study Alzheimer's disease pre-symptomatically and to see whether or not we can use these brain hearing tasks to push back the point of diagnosis. I think this is a really exciting time to be involved in dementia research. There are some huge developments, things like the development of the first disease-modifying treatments for Alzheimer's disease, blood biomarkers that can detect whether or not somebody has Alzheimer's disease in their blood. And I think that my work on brain hearing has potentially a really important role to play alongside those. The support that I've received from the Alzheimer Society has been completely invaluable. This research would not be happening without that funding, and I'm so grateful. It's incredibly humbling and incredibly motivating to reflect on that, and I'm going to work tirelessly over the next 3.5 years to repay the faith that's been put into me.